Good morning, YouTube. Let's talk depression. I am affirmations, gratitude, changing your focus. These things may have a subtle and temporary impact on the level to which you're feeling your depression. Because when we are submerged in diagnosable clinical depression, it's like being underwater. And you can rise to the surface and catch a breath or see the light coming through the water. You can ebb and flow, like my light is doing, within a depressive episode. But primarily and continuously, your cork is still floating well below the surface of the ocean. So certain techniques that would work when you're not clinically depressed aren't going to be as effective when you are depressed. You may not have the energy, because depression takes away physical energy, to do some of the things that boost your mood, like physical activity, getting outside, socializing. You do have to try to make yourself do those things. Socialize, get outside, do things that are contrary to the mood that you're feeling. Listen to positive music, talk to positive people. Do practices like gratitude that are going to shoot your cork a little higher. But when you're immersed in clinical depression, it's a brain disorder. Your brain chemicals are down, they are smothered. You are not receiving the appropriate amount of dopamine, and no affirmation or activity is going to do that. It will have a minor temporary adjustment to your overall disposition, the same way it would if you were feeling normal. But it's not going to relieve your depression. Only time and medication can relieve depression. You're not bad. You're not wrong. You have nothing to feel guilty or flawed about for being clinically depressed. It's not your fault. You don't have to have a reason. That's why it's a mental illness. And the fact that you can't pull yourself up out of, gotta move that hand, pull yourself up out of it, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all the other things that we hear. And the fact that you may try a lot of different tactics and you may not be able to lift your mood very high or for very long. They may not be sustainable. They may not even be suitable. Sometimes when we're clinically depressed and we try and force ourselves to be happy, we can only feel more guilty, more of a failure, more unhappy because of our lack of ability to move our happiness bar up, or the juxtaposition of the way you feel based on your surroundings, and that you should feel joy, you should feel happiness, you should feel fulfillment and wonder from the things that you're surrounding yourself with. And you should yourself. If you were yourself, you would feel those things, but you're not yourself. You are in the grips of a biochemical reaction in your brain. Just like someone who is under sedatives, no matter what activities they do to wake themselves up, they will still be under sedatives. The fact that they are under sedatives does not make them a bad human being, and the fact that they can't perk themselves up, and no matter how much coffee they drink or mantras they say, they can't wake up under sedatives, doesn't say anything about who they are, their character. They shouldn't feel guilty about it because they don't have a reason. Clinical depression is like that. You're not bad because you're sad. You're not bad because you're depressed. You don't have to have a reason. It doesn't come with a reason. It's a condition. And nothing you do can correct the chemicals in your brain. It may alleviate a little while, but it's not going to erase your depression. It can erase a bad mood, but not clinical depression. And I want people to let themselves off the hook for feeling guilty or responsible in their character, or like a failure for not being able to correct what is a condition similar to if they had been given sedatives, that when your brain chemicals are distorted, there's nothing you can do to undistort them but time and perhaps medication intervention to shorten that time. But healthy coping is always healthy. It's better than not trying at all. Unless you find some particular avenue of coping that may help you, usually ends up making you feel worse, then you need to back away from that, because it's not healthy coping if it makes you feel worse. It's hard enough to deal with clinical depression without burdening yourself and guilting yourself for not being able to be better, or something that should provide you joy is not. Just like that person who's under sedatives should wake up with a cup of coffee, but it ain't going to happen. They're under sedatives. Give yourself a break. Time heals all things, even depression. You're not bad because you're depressed. You're not bad because you can't be unsad. You're not at fault. And tread carefully on positive coping skills that work easily in other circumstances. Try them. Try to cope positively as best as you can. But tread carefully, because some of them may actually make you feel worse. And if they make you feel worse, back away. Clinical depression is a mental illness. It's not a personality flaw. And coping well is insight that you have it. Trying to manage yourself and your life as best as you can with minimal damage. Taking good care of yourself and getting through by whatever means necessary that is healthful and wise and will not cost you when the episode is finished. Happiness and coping works a little different when you're depressed. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you either, besides you're having an episode of clinical depression. So let yourself off the hook in every way, shape, or form. You will get through this. And then you can go back to I am affirmations and gratitude lists. Love you guys. Have a good day. My lighting. I don't know why it doesn't like my right arm. There we go. Even if you're depressed, have a better day, knowing that there's nothing wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you because you can't correct it. If you cope well, then you've succeeded. Love you guys. Bye, YouTube.